In this video, I'm going to show you how to put on the undergrips that came with your pickle pack. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your paddle. If it has a rubber band on it, you're going to remove that rubber band. And you can keep that for later if you'd like. You're then going to grab a pair of scissors and you're going to cut off the original grip that came with your paddle. So I'm going to cut under and I'm going to remove the original grip. Just like that. I can take this and I can throw this out in the garbage. I'm just going to set it down beside me. And now I should just have a bare grip. There should just be the handle that's left. There's no grip on the paddle, just the handle. I'm then going to take my pickle pack and I'm going to cut this open. And the undergrips are actually the three bottom ones here. So I'm going to cut this open. So your pickle pack came with three undergrips. It's all dependent on how thick you want your grip to be. If I have a small hand, I want to use one undergrip. If I have a medium-sized hand, maybe two undergrips. And if I have a large hand, three undergrips. So we're going to apply these over top of each other. I have about a medium-sized hand. I also like a thinner grip. It's a lot of personal preference too. So I only use two undergrips. So I'm going to take the first undergrip. I'm going to take off the tape that came with it here, peel off this little plastic part here, and I'm just going to stick that onto something. Then I'm going to take the undergrip and I'm going to unroll it. You're going to see there's a plastic piece on it. We're going to take that off as well. And we're just going to throw that away. Now, there's going to be one end that's going to look different than the other one. We're going to take the smaller end and we're going to remove this little white piece here. It'll be a little sticky part. And that is where we're going to start wrapping at the bottom of the handle. So I'm going to take my paddle and I'm not going to start right on one of the side edges. I'm actually going to start on an angular edge. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to stick it down on an angular edge like this. And I don't want to cover it up right up to the top, just underneath where the original grip was. I'm going to follow the exact same pattern. So I'm going to tighten this about 50 to 60% pressure, and I'm going to wrap all the way around the handle. So I'm going to start wrapping just like this until I meet back with that original part at the start. And I'm going to overlap once. And once I overlap just at the start where I started, I'm going to start moving down. And when I start moving down and wrapping around, this is dependent on how thick you want the undergrip to be. If I want the undergrip to start thickening up really quickly, I'm going to take it and maybe wrap it about halfway. I personally don't like to do that. I like to wrap my undergrips really thin. If you do start the wrap and go about halfway all the way around, it's going to create beveled edges when you put on the overgrip. Some people like that, some people don't, but I prefer to have it so it has no beveled edges. So I'm going to go and wrap around just slightly above each bevel as I'm going around. So here we go. We say if it's about, if this is a full length of grip here, it's about 1/8 is what I'm wrapping. And I'm going to wrap all the way around until I get to the top of the grip. And as you can see, these little edges are starting to form here. If I did this thicker than this and I didn't go as thin, it would start to create these and you'd feel the bumps. You'd actually feel the bumps on your hands as you put on the overgrips. They'll be a lot thicker But if I don't want these thick bumps, I'm gonna have to make sure I run it thinner throughout the whole grip. So once I get to the top of the handle, I can choose to, I like to wrap mine pretty high up on my paddle. It makes the grip just feel longer. I use a two-handed backhand, so that also helps as well. So I like to go over the top a couple of times. Because the handle is thicker and it kind of runs thin here, we can wrap this top part, we can wrap it around to kind of match the thickness if we'd like. I usually go around maybe 2 or 3 times more. And once I've reached where I want to be at, I'm going to take my scissors, and people cut these in different ways. I personally cut mine going this way on a diagonal like this. And once that's done, this is going to look something like this. It kind of looks a little junky, but we'll fix that once we tape it up. So we're going to come back around. We're going to pull really tight now towards the end. And once I have it set in place here, I'm going to take that piece of tape that I stuck down before, and I'm going to tape it down over top of the paddle like this. There's only going to be a small edge, and you'll see this piece here that's you're going to be taking off next. So I'm going to take this off. And now I'm going to wrap this all the way around the handle. Just like this, so it overlaps each other. And I'm going to stick that down. Now we're going to have this little piece of tape left over here. We're just going to take our scissors and we are going to cut that off. Just like that. Now, that is how I put on one undergrip. If I wanted to put on a second undergrip, what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat the exact same process, but the beveled edge I started at on this corner here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start on the opposite edge here. So I'm going to start, if I started here before, I'm actually going to start on this side here. I don't want to keep wrapping over on the same side that I started on because it's going to make this part thicker. So I want to start on the opposite edge and I'm going to wrap around. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to take my second undergrip and follow the exact same process. Throw away that, peel this edge off here, and find that opposite beveled edge over here, and I'm going to stick it down right over top of the other grip. And I'm going to start wrapping around. So again, about 50 to 60% pressure. And I'm going to wrap about 1/8 all the way around the handle. Now I'm going to take my scissors, I'm going to cut on an angle again. And I'm going to grab this and make sure it is tight all the way around. I really want to make sure this end part is tight, so I'm going to go back around again, make sure it's pretty tight. And then I'm going to take my piece of tape and I'm going to tape it down and wrap around. Just like that. Take this extra piece here. I'm just going to cut that off. Just like that. So now I have my 2 undergrips applied to my paddle. I can use the undergrips as overgrips. I don't exactly have to put on the overgrips that come with the package. The overgrips are perforated. If you don't like a perforated overgrip, you can use the undergrips as overgrips. They are very nice tacky grips. but they are very cushiony. That's why I really like them. So the reason why we're replacing the original grip with these Undergrips is for the cushion that we feel underneath when we're holding the paddle. The original grips, the cushion isn't great when I wrap over them, so that's why we created these Undergrips for our paddles, so we can create that nice cushiony feel for our handle.